y'all, it's your girl Chelsea Alexa. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to finish my braiding series off. I'm going to show you guys how I did these knotless goddess braids. I'm actually going to show you guys how I did them and tell you what to avoid when you're doing knotless braids. I've done knotless braids a few times now, and trust me, I made my share of mistakes, so let me help y'all out. Everything that I'm using is going to be down in the description box, but let me just say, if you guys didn't know already, I'm from Florida, and I'm literally filming this while Hurricane Ian was hitting. Like, I just was bored in the house and I'm just using stuff that I already have at home. So colors might not match up, and that's just how life's gonna have to be. So to start, I'm just prepping my hair. I'm pinching off pieces of the braiding hair and I'm setting it aside because you know for knotless braids you have to add the hair in as you go. I'm also gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut off hair off of the track. This hair, I don't know where it's from. I think it is from Beauty Forever, but girl, I don't know. It's just stuff that I found in my suitcase of hair, like I said. So you just cut it off the track and that's what it ends up looking like. And I'm adding that Bronner Brothers to my hair now as for moisture. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to avoid is messy parts. Let me tell you, I've done knotless braids only a couple times before in my life, and my biggest mistake was the fact that I did not take those parts seriously. There are no knots, so there's no knots to hide your part. You got to make sure they look good. So I'm taking my shine and jam, I'm putting it around my part, and then, this is very important, take a section down the middle and you add the shine and jam down there as well. And then you really just mold that together. I like to twist it like this just to make sure that the base is very flat so that when I start my braid, it's not like lumpy. So the next thing you're going to do is separate that section into 3 smaller sections just straight up and down. And you can do that with your fingers. And then I'm going to cross just twice, and then I'm going to add my first piece of hair. And then I'm going to combine the braiding hair with my real hair and continue my braid. Only twice again before I add my second piece of hair. And that's my next piece of advice, is I like adding my hair in sets of 2s. I find that when I add it instead of 2, when I get to the end of the braid, I don't have to borrow hair as much in between the braids, and it ends up just being uniform. With that being said though, for this style I only added 4 pieces of hair. So I added my first set of 2, I braided down for a little bit, and then I added another set of 2, and then that was it for the braid. And then I went on to adding in my human hair for my goddess braid. So I'm taking the human hair now and I'm laying it flat behind the braid, but I'm leaving one side very long. And now I'm just folding it into the braid and continuing down. I'm adding shine and jam to my natural hair just to make sure that it blends properly. And then I continue braiding down. I'm going to separate the human hair from the braid, and I'm just going to isolate it. I just hold it in my mouth because I feel like it's easier to separate, but you don't have to do it that way. And I just braid down further to make sure that it's secure into the braid. Then I go ahead and I finish braiding down to the end, and I do the exact same thing to secure the curly ends. And at the very end, I'm going to make a knot. I'm going to take one of the pieces of hair, tie it around the rest of the pieces of hair, and create a knot. And then I take the end of that knot, split it into 2, and then I tie it around it themselves twice. Then I'm going to use some scissors and I'm just going to cut the excess braiding hair, and I'm going to leave the curly hair at the end. And that's what it's looking like. And you can see the base is very flat. It's looking like how it should look. Okay, so let's do it again. So the first tip, like I said, was to make sure you really mold your parts. Outline the part with your gel of choice. I'm using shine and jam. You split it down the middle, and then you also add gel. That's what really makes the part flat. And then I'm going to comb it through. And you can see that's molded. Now split it into 3. And then you're going to do your first 2 stitches before adding your first piece of hair. Then your second piece of hair right after that. And I braid down for a little bit. 2 extra stitches, and then I add my my third piece of hair. And then my fourth. There are many ways to do knotless braids. You don't have to do it exactly this way. This is just the way that I think I like the best so far. You could add all four right after the other if you want to, but that's just going to make the base of your braid thicker, and that's just not the look I wanted to go for. So I'm switching my hands now, adding my shine and jam, and I'm going to continue braiding down. And we're still braiding, and now I'm going to add my human hair. So I'm laying it flat and I'm just folding it in. Again, braid down for a little bit, isolate that human hair, and just continue braiding. Once you get to the end, you're doing the exact same thing. And to secure it, you just get one of the pieces of braiding hair, wrap it around, make a knot, split the end of the knot in two, and then you wrap it around themselves 2 or 3 times before you take some scissors and just cut those ends. I do have another piece of advice, and this one is pretty important, I feel like, for the look of knotless braids. You definitely want to make sure you start adding hair out the gate. Like, do not wait. I waited before, and it just gives you like a super limp looking braid, and you want it to kind of be stiff from the root. So I'm going to split that hair into 3 the way I always do. And I'm just only going around once, twice, and then I'm adding my hair. The first time I did knotless braids, I tried going down 4 times before adding hair, and it just made it look too loose. I wore these braids for 3 weeks, and the base never felt loose. It never felt like it was limp or anything. So I definitely would say out the gate, you see, it's right at the root. Out the gate, start with it. I also feel like if you were to wait to add hair, it would create too much actual weight of the braid. Like the base of your hair wouldn't be supporting it anymore. It would actually be like weighing your hair down. So something to think about. So we have the front half done. Starting to see the vision, starting to feel the vibes. Now we're going on to the back. In this next one, we're going to incorporate everything, all the pieces of advice that I just said, we're going to put into this next braid. So I'm prepping my hair, I'm setting it aside, and I'm also going to go ahead and cut some more hair off the track for my goddess braid. And then I'm going to split it ahead of time too. So starting with really molding our part, I can't see, but I'm just trying to make sure I get my shine and jam all around the perimeter and get some somewhere near the center of the part. And then I comb it through. Then I'm going to split it into my 3 sections. I'm going to go once, twice, and then out the gate, I'm adding my first piece of hair. Once, twice, another piece of hair. Now I'm going to go down a little bit further, 3, 4, and boom, another piece of hair. And the next time, our last piece of hair. And that's really how I did my whole head. Like, that's kind of the exact setup that I did. And then once I had the hair secure, I would switch my hands to underhand And then I would add my shine and gem to my ends and I keep braiding. So as far as the goddess braid hair, I did not add it in the same place for every braid. I kind of wanted my hair to be full even though I'm doing thin braids. So I added them in different places. So you're not going to see me add the hair at the same spot in every braid. That's intentional. So I'm just going to braid down and then I'm going to add my hair a little bit lower this time than usual. And I'm just folding it right into it. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find that curly hair, separate it, and keep braiding down. Once I get to the ends, I'm going to make sure to do the same thing. Lay it flat across the back. And this is what it should look like. Like, this is what I'm actually doing to the hair. Just laying it flat behind there and braiding it in. Then I'm gonna go ahead and create a knot with one of the pieces of braiding hair. Don't use the human hair for the knot. Use a piece of the braiding hair. Definitely do that. Another piece of advice. Then I'm going to split it into two and create 2 knots on top of that before I use my scissors to go ahead and cut it. So this is what it's looking like. Super cute. It looks pretty full. Them braids are thin. You can see that they're thin. But they're pretty full. I made them thin on purpose because my hair is kind of thin and I didn't really want it to be too much weight. Yeah. And that hair is really long, I'm not gonna lie. That was a bundle of hair that I just found randomly, but I think it was like 26 inches now that I think about it. So it's mad long, I'm not gonna lie. But it's cute. Ow, ow. The parts came out pretty straight too. Like I said, I was serious this time, y'all. I was so embarrassed the first time I did these braids. I was not gonna do it like that again. But yeah. And with that, the braiding series is done yet again. Thank you guys for rocking with me the past 4 weeks. It's been a full month. I know that's crazy, but I'll be back in a couple weeks with a new video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe in the meantime. But until then, I'll catch y'all later.